Okay, folks, this is week 6 Sunday game scripts, uncertainty rankings, defense against the position, and Vegas insights. My name is Dr. John Bush. This is the process. Uh, the Thursday game for week 6, Vegas had at 38 over under. And I think I just realized that the percentage, and that's just in my head, percentage of importance probably varies in the game scripts, in the uncertainty, the DAPs, the insights, in other words, all together. And so I think my research going forward needs to try to juggle a little bit. Does certain situations really amplify that metric and like, hey, don't really pay attention to whatever, to what Vegas is saying. Let's play that game. The defense against position is just overwhelmingly telling, in quotes, what we should do or not do. I think with 38 being an over under, that's such a rare situation. I think it's just overriding some of the other information and making that more important. So just think about that going forward. If the few of you that are listening, thanks by the way, yay. Uh, I think there's where the aspects change is what percentage of our decision should be based on a metric. You see, would you look at Twitter and all the other pay sites, et cetera, et cetera? Uh, how much are their rankings? How much are their air yards? How much are their, I don't know, whatever. It's like, I don't know. You know what? They don't know. Okay? Because if they did, they would either tell you or they'd be using it to make money on daily fantasy, and of course wouldn't tell anybody. So I don't think there's a lot of research there. And that's almost getting back to principal component analysis, which, if you look in one of my lessons, I kind of take you through that from a year or so ago, just to give you a sense of how that does. But it looks at the streams of data and kind of measures the relationships and the importance of that. I'm just kind of broad brushing that. So I think that's where, and you're saying, well, is there a way to figure? Well, nobody's done that in fantasy football that I've seen published. Feel free to email me if you can find a site that has, okay, and actually has done it in a statistical way, in a scientific methodology. It's not out there, folks, so I don't care what they flim flam and say. A lot of experts and whatnot, and it's amazing how all that starts disappearing when the the lights are turned on. Just like you turn the lights on a little too bright, all the roaches start flying around hiding. And I think uh, there's some accountability that people need to deal with. Anyway, oh, I see I made a mistake there, the introduction, and it's like I didn't finish the code there. And then here's should be week 6, not week 5. But anyway, uh, let's look at power rankings this week for week 6. And the top are in green. And a lot of these are the usual suspects. And again, just looking at this one slice, okay, and then the teams that are an issue. So you should, including in your frame, is to how good or bad, the teams figure to be this week. So I do keep that. If you're trading, you're doing daily fantasy, your lineups, if things are tied, I would try to break the tie with this kind of metric or other metrics that I've got in here. And again, there's the question: what percentage of importance is a power ranking? And you can see that I graphed it for you. You can have some fun versus uncertainty rankings. And this week, here are the ones in red are the teams with the players with a higher uncertainty. If you think about, and I try to explain the uncertainty levels here in this paragraph. Long story short, low uncertainty uh, pretty much that says that we understand things a little bit better than a high uncertainty situation. That's all it says. Doesn't mean, oh, high uncertainty, we avoid that entirely. No, but you need to know, could be a little squishy. Okay. The rankings and the belief system and the percentage of how we should value gets a little squishy. Look at Carolina. 10 of their players are high. Ooh, so that could mean lots of probably bad things, but only one low uncertainty player, probably Christian McCaffrey. So everything else is probably up for grabs on, this week, that kind of thing. And the opposite would be Cincinnati, 8 low uncertainty players. I think we understand the range of outcomes for Jamar Chase and Higgins and Hayden Hurst and Burrow and Mixon. I don't think there's a lot of like, wow, I wonder if they're good. Yeah, we kind of know. And this figures to have this week, they look pretty good on some of their matchups. But again, what percentage of importance is it? Like Cincinnati seems really good, and lo and behold, the power ranking is good too. So that's kind of two things that are shifting over to the scales of Cincinnati versus look at Carolina at the bottom of the power rankings and at the uh, extreme of uncertainty. So we kind of have a double whammy there. So that does that mean somebody, DJ Moore won't score 3 touchdowns? No, but I think the if you're betting on it, you better get good odds. I think if you're going and making some bets about that, you know, is that going to happen or not? That. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There they go. My guard dogs going nuts. Okay, so you can check that out. Let me go over the two high uncertainty games, just give you a taste. And of course, if you know how I do this, you probably don't have to listen again. You might. Hopefully, you got that percentage little diatribe there. And that I think is still out there. And I think that's, I don't want to say the holy grail of fantasy, but if you add that with modeling AI and some higher level simulations. I think that's what people are shooting for, but, you know, frankly, the best people in doing that are probably not hanging around in fantasy. They're actually trying to win Nobel Prizes and doing really important things, okay, versus the goofiness we call fantasy football. Okay, this week, we hope Vegas says, believe it. Remember, they're trying to make money. They're not trying to predict the future, but their over-unders indication that there's going to be a lot of points scored in the Cardinals-Seattle game and the Bills-Chiefs. That's very interesting. Bills and Chiefs, especially, is the highest pointage this week. And they're saying it's all good. Okay, that's interesting. And Cardinals and Bills figured to win by about 2-3 points ish, kind of thing. So we'll see. So that probably means you should play a lot of these players just by that little tidbit, right? But of your decision, how much percentage should we do that? I will tell you that 53 is not as uncommon as 38, at least in my poor memory. If they said the over under is 56, wow, that is so rare that that would kind of, for me, override things. So I think I'm trying to take Thursday night's lesson a little bit. Okay. So let's look at the daps: Arizona, Seattle. And so you read that it's week 6. It's the front half of the season, call it the segment. Arizona's playing away, and their opponent, Seattle, is in green. That means it's easy. And the overall offense is extra easy. And the Arizona, if it's Connor, if it's Eno, then if Connor doesn't play, Eno, everybody's saying smash, etc. Well, they're seeing this, folks, and so they're saying 100% throw all your eggs in that Eno basket. And like I said, is it 100%? Everything goes there? I don't know. We're learning. Uh, Murray says it's easy, but look at the wide receivers there. That tells me it's as tough that Seattle actually has some good corners, and they are really rough to score points by wide receivers. So Marquise Brown is not, and I don't know the percentage, there's the trick, the amount of when something's tough, what does that mean under these conditions, under Vegas's predictions? It starts getting a little bit messy there. I will say that Zach Ertz, look at extra easy, figures 100%. So this seems to be, and one wonders, and Zach Ertz, you know, versus Marquise Brown, George Green, Rondale Moore. So that's high scoring. So you have like definitely should play those. I think I probably will. That's what I'm taking, and there should be lots of scoring and opportunities. So it seems good. Does that mean I don't play the wide receivers? That means to me, if I've got some Bills or Chief wide receivers, I might consider that situation a little bit differently versus the Cardinals. Seattle against Arizona. Arizona is a little bit easy. It's above average easy. Seattle's running back, Walker. Everybody say, oh, it's a done deal. Well, it's a little bit tougher. It's not going to be a cakewalk there. So doesn't mean he won't, clean house and get lots of touchdowns. But it that little point there remind us that, you know, maybe a few pebbles in the road there. Smith figures. His wide receivers don't figure as much. A little bit tough. Not as tough as Arizona's wide receiver, but still tough. Look at Presley and Fan. Looks like it's their week again. Unfortunately, there's both of them. So, I've played Disley on some streaming situations. I'll stream him this week, but I think he's limited because of having Fan out there. I mean, from Seattle's point of view, they want to score. They don't care about my fantasy team. I wouldn't play these defenses. Kickers, go play. Oh, my dogs are going nuts. Let's see what's going on. Okay. Buffalo and Kansas City, the highlight game of the week, whatever. Buffalo faces an easy Kansas City defense. It looks like play your Buffalo players every which way but loose. Everything's easy, but you don't want to play the Buffalo defense. Isn't that interesting? I'm not sure what that means either. I haven't done enough uh, study on that. That's lacking. What does that really tell us? Uh, you know, Shouldn't the Buffalo D be a good play? I don't know. Maybe it's because Kansas City's offensive level is so rough and tough in the past that the Buffalo D is probably going to give up some stuff. Vegas says they will. Vegas says 4 touchdowns for the Chiefs, 5 for the Bills, 9 touchdowns total ish. Here's the flying ointment for me, Kansas City. Look at the defense, probably the toughest defense. Looks to me like the only one that has, on paper, the only one is the running backs for KC. Everybody else has a tough go, including Kelsey, their number one. So, how does that play with what Vegas? So, there's a contradiction there. Vegas says play them all day and night, got 4 touchdowns coming, believe it. The DAP says Rutrow going to be rough. So, how I interpret that is you play the really good players and you probably don't dip into the middle or the lower players. Whereas in Buffalo, I might go a little deep, say, in the wide receiver pools down there to Kinsey or some of the other ones, after Diggs and Gabe. I might play the third or fourth, okay? Whereas Kansas City with Juju, maybe, probably not if I've got a better choice. But I, you know, I'm not going to shy away from Mahomes and Kelsey. It's just, I'm not sure this is a 2 touchdown week for Kelsey. I think if we can get a touchdown and lots of catches, that will be a victory. Okay. So that's how I see this game going. So I show the contradictions, and you're saying, well, how come I don't know that? If I do that, I'd be at the $100 window, folks. I'd be living in Vegas if I knew 100%. Okay, I'm just telling you, this is it. This is the art that follows the science of making the metrics, producing it. The actual analysis requires some artfulness, and that is shifting, and it's not as firm. Anybody says it is, they're fooling themselves, and you should not be tricked. I'm warning you that figuring out and juggling the percentages is not a clear cut thing here. I think there's tendencies that we can read into this information. Finally, here's an example of my rankings and my uncertainty level. So I have a column, high, average, and low uncertainty. Have a rankings from 100 to 0. Higher is better. Anything above 75, 80 is usually a 1. So Kyler Murray has a good chance. He's not like the best of the week, but 86 is not bad. He should be in the top 12 this week, but it's average uncertain. Now, whether that's he's number 12 or he's number 8, I don't know. The average tells me there's some variability there in the range of outcomes. I put Connor in there because I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think he's playing. Low uncertainty, Eno figures, but my ranking is 40 the way I do things. And I don't have an overall figure with Vegas, with the DAPS, with, all the other streams of metrics. I try to, the uncertainty, the power rankings, putting that in. I don't have a super equation, and I'm not sure how accurate a super equation would be. You'd have to test that. So I kind of do some manipulations and algorithms and things, and this is where it came out. And it could be because Connor has a chance to play that is messing a little bit. But I will probably pay him given the Vegas and the Daps. But am I putting all my banker on him? No. Would I play him in, 50-50 tournament, 50-50 play, cash game, gotta have my money? He'll be in consideration, but it's not a slam dunk uh, for a lot of reasons. So Ertz to me is my rankings are saying play him all day long. So I'm feeling a lot more confident about what we'll get out of him this week. The wide receivers, Marquise Brown is 2-1 this week, but high uncertainty. That means he could be a low 2 or a high 3, all the way to, there's a possibility he can catch 2 touchdowns. I think it's rare, but it could happen given Vegas and all the daps. But it tells me if I'm going to focus on somebody, that's where I'm focusing my attention this week. So this is an example. Here's Seattle, and you can go through this as well this week and figure out how to play that. Yeah. Okay. For instance, Walker, everybody's saying I got him as a high 2 this week. 71 low uncertainty. Figure and Gino, I've got him as a low 1 and pretty good. But it's as good as Murray. Murray's ranked higher, but he's average uncertainty. So then, how do we balance those two quarterbacks? And I'm telling you, I haven't done the data to fine tune it. I think this is about as good as you're going to get. The indications of this kind of thing. Okay. So if you're looking for clarity I got to be real with you. You're never going to feel like I should put the mortgage on something. If you do, you're probably wrong. You may win, great, congratulations, but having spent a lot of time at the racetrack, seen some funny things happen. Saddles slip, jockey fall off, horse gets injured. Nothing is for sure in gambling and predicting the future. So I do know that. Okay. I wish you good luck. You can look at the rest of this yourself because you don't want to hear me going on for hours and hours. Some of these cats on these podcasts, Dennis and I go too long. We get going and we're entertaining ourselves half the time. But I don't know. Just realize there's a limit to all the BS out there. Anyway, good luck this week. Thanks for listening to One or Two the Do. Yay. Okay. And pay attention to all the goodies at scienceoffantasyfootball.com and listen to the podcast. Hey, check out Dennis's value plays and all his goodies that he deals out. He's a sharp cat. Okay. I know he gets a little wacky on Twitter. Okay. That's why we love him, but he can be a wacky package. Okay. Dennis not listening to this, so I can say call him a wacky. Okay, guys, good luck. Woo woo. Let's have fun. Crush this week.